Hello everyone, welcome to my quantitative techniques lecture series. Today we are going to take a simple problem on regression equations. Of course, in the previous classes we have studied some of the problems with related to this. So here's the problem for the day. The two variables have the regression equations. Here the two variable x and y, they have given the two equations here. So based on these equations, we need to find the mean value of x and y, the correlation coefficient between x and y, and if the variance of x is 25, then find the deviation of y from the data. So that means we need to find out here standard deviation of y. So they have given only two equations here. So they have said the regression equations of two variables is given here. So let me start with the first one, that is mean value of x and y. So for this, consider the two equations and multiply it with such number that by subtracting the two equations we can cancel either x or y. So they have given the two equations, but first I'll consider these two equations. So I'll consider the first equation as regression equation 1 and here regression equation 2. The next step is to make switch to cancel either x or y. I need to cancel either x or I need to cancel y. So for this, we need to multiply these equations here. So here, I'll multiply the first equation, 3x plus 2y minus 26 equals to 0 into 6. So here, I would like to cancel x here. The coefficient of x is 6. So I'll multiply the first equation by 6. And I'll consider the second equation here, 6x plus y minus 31. So here we are going to cancel x. So I should consider the coefficient of x in the first equation. So coefficient of x in the first equation is 3. I should multiply this equation by 3. So the next step is to subtract the equation 2 by equation 1. So the first equation is now 6 into 3x is 18x, 2y into 6 is 12y, minus 26 into 6 is minus 156 equals to 0 into 6 is 0. Then I should deduct the equation 2 here. So now the equation 2 is 6x into 3 is 18x, y into 3 is 3y, minus 31 into 3 is minus 93. Now I should deduct this second equation by first equation. So we know that in order to deduct, that means we need to multiply the second equation by minus. First equation minus second equation. So we need to multiply the entire second equation by minus. So minus into 18x, it's minus 18x, minus into 3y, it's minus 3y, minus into minus 93. So minus into minus, it will become plus. So here plus into minus is minus. So now I'll start deduct here. Here it is plus 18x and here it is minus 18x. So we should get cancelled. So the result is 0x. So the next one, plus 12y minus 3y. So the remaining is 9y. And here minus 156 and here plus 93. So the difference is 63. The highest number sign is minus. So I'll keep minus here. Equals to 0, of course. So again, I should simplify this equation so that I'll get the y value here. So I'll keep the y in the left hand side itself. So minus 63 will become plus 63 on the right hand side. And multiplied by 9 will become divided by 9 on the right hand side. So 63 divided by 9. So the y value is 7. So now I got the y value. So the next step is to find the x value. So as far as finding x value, substitute the value of y to any one equation. I should substitute the value to any one equation. Either I can consider this or the second equation. I'll consider the first equation. 3x plus 2y minus 26 equals to 0. So I'll simply apply the value. So here 3x plus 2 into y. So now the value of y is 7. I'll substitute here. Minus 26 equals to 0. And here 3x plus 2 into 7 is 14. Minus 26 equals to 0. And here 3x here plus 14 and minus 26. The difference is minus 12. And here x equals to minus 12 will become plus 12 and multiplied by 3 will become divided by 3. So x equals to 4. So here our first task is over. It is find the mean value of x and y. So the mean value of x is 4 and the mean value of y is 7. So what we have did, we just subtract the equation 2 by equation 1. Hope you understood how to get the mean value of x and y when they have given two regression equations. I'll move to second one, the correlation coefficient between x and y. So correlation coefficient that we need to find out. So they are not given which one is x on y and which one is y on x. They have given two regression equations, but they are not specific which one is regression 1 and regression 2. So on an assumption basis, I'll consider equation 1 as x on y and equation 2 as y on x. So I repeat, it's just our assumption. It may or may not be. So first equations ಅನ್ನು regression equation 1 x on y ಅಂತ assumption ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ ಮತ್ತು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ equations ಅನ್ನು regression equation 2 y on x ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ assumption ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಬಟ್ ಈ assumption ನಮಗೆ ರಿಯಲ್ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ಕೊಡದೇನೆ ಇರಬಹುದು. ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಟ್ರಯಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎರರ್ ಬೇಸಿಸ್. ಸೊ ಇದು ಟ್ರಯಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎರರ್ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಅಡಾಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. So step 2, simplify the equation 1 for the regression x on y and y on x. So regression equation x on y ಮತ್ತು y on x ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು find out ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. Once we got the regression coefficients, so then we can easily calculate the correlation, because the correlation formula r equals to square root of bxy into byx. So first we need to find out bxy and byx. So here I'll consider the first equation 3x plus 2y minus 26 equals to 0. So we know that the standard format is x equals to a plus by. I need to convert this equation into this format. So I'll just simplify this equation here. So 3x equals to plus 2y will become minus 2y and minus 26 will become plus 26. And here I'll keep the x in the left hand side itself, because you know that x equals to formula that we need to maintain. So x equals to minus 2y plus 26 divided by 3. So it is minus 2y divided by 3 and plus 26 divided by 3. So further I can simplify here. X equals to minus 2 by 3 is minus 0.6667 y plus 26 divided by 3 is 8.667. So now you can compare. It's in the format of x equals to a plus by. So here a is the constant, that is 8.667, and by. So b represents regression coefficient x on y. So here the b value is minus 0.6667. So now we got the first regression coefficient bxy. I'll do the same thing for our byx here. I'll just simplify the second equation, regression equation 2. 6x plus y minus 31 equals to 0. So it should be in the format of y equals to a plus bx. So I should keep the y in the left hand side itself, and I should transfer all other parameters to right hand side. So y equals to plus 6x will become minus 6x, minus 31 will become plus 31. Now we can check here, minus 6x plus 31, it's in the format of our standard format y equals to a plus bx. So here a is 31, constant number, bx here. So here b value is minus 6. So byx value is minus 6. So now we got the two regression coefficients bxy and byx. So the next step is apply the value bxy and byx to the formula. So here our formula correlation coefficient is square root of summation bxy into summation byx. So let me apply the values. Bxy value is minus 0.6667, and here into byx value is minus 6. So the multiplied value is square root of 4.002 and R value is 2.00049. But in the properties of regression, we have learned that R value should lies in between minus 1 to plus 1. It cannot be more than plus 1 or it cannot be less than minus 1. R value correlation value minus 1 ಇಂದ ಪ್ಲಸ್ 1 ಒಳಗಡೆನೆ ಇರಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕೂಡ ಆಗೋ ಹಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಕೂಡ ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ನಾವು ವಿ ಗಾಟ್ ದ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ 2.00049, the eighth mystery of world. So it cannot be possible. So we have to reject this answer. ಈ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ರಿಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಹಾಗಿದ್ರೆ what we can do now? So here for the solution correlation coefficient, we should repeat the steps by changing the assumption. So what's our assumption? The basic assumption regarding y on x as well as x on y. So here we have considered earlier 3x plus 2y minus 26 equals to 0. The first equation as x on y and the second equation as y on x. So now ಬಿಗಿನಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವು. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ವೈ ಮತ್ತು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ವೈ ಆನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಇಂಟರ್ಚೇಂಜ್. ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಪುನಃ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಈಗ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ವೈ ಆನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಅಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ವೈ ಅಂತ ಅಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಸೇಮ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೇವೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗೈಡ್ ಮೀ. ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್ ಇಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ರಿಗ್ರೆಷನ್ equation 2 and the second one as regression equation 1. So the next step is to simplify the equation 1 for the regression x on y and equation 2 for y on x. So our standard format is, of course, x equals to a plus by. So 6x plus y will become minus y here, minus 31 will become plus 31. Now x equals to minus 1 y divided by 6 and plus 31 divided by 6. So here 1 by 6 value is 0.1667 y plus 31 divided by 6 is 5.1667. So now we can compare. It's in the format of standard value. So x equals to a. So a represents a constant, that is 5.1667 plus b into y. So here b value is minus 0.1667, that is bxy, x on y. So we should simplify the same thing for the next equation. For y on x, so we should consider this equation. 3x plus 2y minus 26 equals to 0. And the standard format for this is y equals to a plus bx. So I'll consider this. If we simplify, I'll get the byx value, that is minus 1.5. So now let me apply the values to correlation formula. So correlation value equals to square root of bxy into byx. So here I just apply the values. Bxy is minus 0.1667 into byx value minus 1.5. So here r equals to square root of minus into minus plus, of course, 0.25005. So if we remove the square root, we'll get the value r equals to minus 0.5. So now cross verify again. R value should lie in between minus 1 to plus 1. Minus 0.5, of course, it's exactly in between 0 to minus 1. So 0 ಇಂದ minus 1 ಒಳಗಡೆ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಿಡಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾಲ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ನಮ್ಮ R value. So again, I'd like to ask you. So here, if we remove the square root, we'll get the answer 0.5. But I have put minus. So can you tell me why it is minus? Yes, I hope you are able to answer here. Bxy value, byx value as well as r value should share ಸೇಮ್ ಸಿಂಬಲ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಮೂರು ಪ್ಯಾರಾಮೀಟರ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಒಂದೇ ಸಿಂಬಲ್ ಅನ್ನು ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಫೈಂಡ್. So bxy value is negative, byx value is negative. So r value definitely should be negative. So for that reason I have put minus here. So r equals to minus 0.5. The correlation coefficient between x and y is minus 0.5. Now it's perfect. And the last question is, if the variance of x is 25, then find the deviation of y from the data. So that means we should find out standard deviation of y. You know that in this particular chapter, standard deviation will comes in case of regression coefficient equation. So we have two formulas here, that is bxy equals to r into standard deviation of x by standard deviation of y, and byx equals to r into standard deviation of y and standard deviation of x. So we can apply the values by taking any one of these two formulas. I'll take the first formula and apply the values. So here bxy equals to r value we have already found out, that is 0.5. Next is, I'll take this standard deviation of y to this side. So standard deviation of y, so here divided by, it will become multiply now, into 0.1667 equals to minus 2.5 as it is. So in the next step, I'll transfer this to right hand side. So minus 2.5 divided by now. So here it is multiplication, it will become divided by minus 2.5 divided by minus 0.1667. So it is 14.9970. So minus divided by minus, so it is plus. Now the standard deviation of y is 14.9970. Standard deviation of x they are given variance of x is 25. So standard deviation equals to square root of variance. So square root of 25 is 5 we have taken. Now the standard deviation of y is 14.9970, or we can consider the standard deviation of y as 15. So we have completed all the three tasks here. So I'll repeat the steps once again. They have given two regression equations. So based on which, the first thing we found out was mean value of x and y. So for this mean valuation, we followed the steps. So we have considered two equations and multiply it with such number that by subtracting we can cancel either x or y, but here we cancel the x. So we multiplied the first equation by the coefficient of x in the second equation, and second equation multiplied by the coefficient of first equation And the second step, we subtracted the equation 2 by equation 1 and substitute the value of y to any one equation. So in the second step, we'll get the value of y. After knowing the y value, we substitute the value to either of the equation, any one equation, so that we'll get the value of x. So we have find out the mean value of x and y. And the second thing is the correlation coefficient between x and y. We know the formula that r equals to square root of bxy into byx. So for this, we need to find out a regression coefficient. They have not given x on y and y on x specifically. They just given the two equation. ಈ ಎರಡು ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ವೈ ಮತ್ತು ಯಾವುದು ವೈ ಆನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ವೈ ಅಂತಲೂ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ವೈ ಆನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಲೂ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. And simplify the equation 1 for regression x on y and regression equation 2 for y on x. Apply the bxy and byx values to formula r equals to bxy into byx. But here, if we didn't get the values, r values ಇರುವಂತ conditions -1 to +1 ವರೆಗಡೆ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಅದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಆದ್ರೆ again we should repeat the steps. Step 1, 2 and 3, and here in the step 1 we should consider x on y for regression equation 2 and y on x for regression equation 1. We should change our assumption so that we'll get the r values. And the last one, if the variance of x is 25, then find the deviation of y from the data. So here we found out the deviation, standard deviation of y. For this, consider the regression coefficient equation. We can consider any regression equation, regression coefficient formula. So bxy equals to r into standard deviation of x by standard deviation of y we have considered. So we just applied the values to this formula and we got to know the standard deviation of y here. So if you have any doubts, you can ask. And of course, I'm going to end this video. Thank you for watching. Take care and happy learning.